Okay, now that we've got our configuration set up, we need to create some products and then start moving them around. Just before we do, we'll do a quick recap on what we've got set up. So we went into the settings, we set up some the domain distribution center, and then we set up a couple of branch offices or stores. We'll go to inventory and a quick look. We set up some warehouses, got those ready to go, and with all the correct addresses and so forth. We've got our locations we've got set up, and let's have a look at these transit locations. Let me just expand this out. We set up these three intermediary locations for our transfers, somewhere for them to go whilst they're in transit between one location and another. So they've been set up. We have our operations types, which we set up these three down the bottom here. Our distribution center out to all of our stores, and then our returns from our stores back to our DC for store 1 and store 2 and so forth. So this is a bit of a general one where we can send products out to all stores, with these ones specific ones where we're actually taking it back from store 1 directly to the DC. And actually using that intermediary location, which was more likely than not going to be a truck or some method of transportation. Let's move on. So we've also got our rules set up. So we set up one rule, one route, which is this one, and we've got 3 rules that we set up underneath to initiate that transfer from whichever intermediary location. This happens to be the transit location for the returns, and then we've got our store 1 and store 2, which if a product arrives in these locations, it will automatically go and create a receipt order at the relevant warehouse. Alright, so that's what we set up briefly. So first thing, let's go to the overview. You'll notice here I've got a lot of these are the operations types we're seeing here, and they're all kind of jumbled together and they're kind of a little bit difficult to see. So what I'll do is I'll group by warehouse just to put them all in a list, and now I've got my warehouses all set up, and I like this particular view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it and make it my default. I'll change the name. I can change the name here if I want to, but I'm just going to leave it. Save, and now it's my default view whenever I come back in here. We're going to be using these 3 down the bottom here quite a bit. So what I want to really do is have them up the top here. So what I'll do is I'll come into my operations types, and I'll drag these up to the top, just because they're the ones that's where I'd like to see them up the top. So we're grouping by warehouse, so to put all of the distribution center 1 in one column, all of store 1 in another column, and all of store 2 in another column when I group by warehouse. So and by having these up the top here means that they'll appear in the top in the overview, and there they are. So very handy. Now we've got that set up, let's create a product. Okay, so let's create product A. So with the product, we've got this set up so that we are tracking the inventory. So don't confuse this tracking with serial numbers or lots. This just purely means we're tracking it from the perspective of how many do we have and where are they. This is just a high level tracking. If we wanted to track by serial number or by lots, we'd have to turn on that feature, and there'd be some options under the inventory tab to manage by lot or by serial number. So don't confuse those two. And this is a product, it's not a service, and it's not a combination. This is just a product, a good that we track by quantity. and save that. Now we can go out and create a purchase order, which has probably been covered many times. Let's do it. Okay, I'm going to create a supplier 1 to be creative again. I'm just going to use the quick add to create supplier 1, just so that there. I'm going to add the product in here, product A. How many do I want to have? I want to have 50 of them. Unit price, I'm not going to worry about unit. Well, I'll put in, no, what do these cost? $10, something like that. Yeah, so I'll confirm that order, and let's just see what that does. So back in our inventory, we've got a receipt now coming in for that particular product. So I can go into here and we want to receive this product, and the guys obviously in the warehouse would see that the truck arrived with these goods on it, and they could zap them with the barcodes, do all those sorts of things to bring them into our warehouse. And what we can do is, if we need any specific put away rules, we can adjust where the location is. We only have the one location within our distribution centre's warehouse, and we can see the quantity is 50. I can save that. What else do I want to look at here? We can see the forecasters as well. As these are coming into the warehouse, so that's not really a problem. So I can just validate this. So now we have 50 of these guys, these product A's on hand. Let's go and have a look at that. We'll go into products, and I can see here we've got 50 on hand and 50 forecast. So 50 on hand means I've got 50 within my possession. Forecast will take into account things like any additional incoming purchase orders that are out for this particular product. I'll take that into account. Any sales that were made where we've got this product being reserved for a delivery to a customer, that'll take that into account. So we've got 50 on hand plus what's coming in and minus what's going out gives us our forecast amount. So that's all good. I can see this is filtered based on warehouse for the distribution centre. I can pick out one of the warehouses here if I want to. Pick out store 1 and I've got none, and store 2 I've got none, as you'd expect. The other thing we can do here is, if we go back to the product, we can click on the on hand. I can see all of the locations where that product exists. At the moment we've just got some in that location within the distribution centre. Alright, so we've got some product in our warehouse ready to go in the main distribution centre. It's now time to start moving some stuff around.